The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi everybody, thanks for joining us today on this rainy day in Dublin anyway. With me I'm Donald O'Neill and I'm the head of marketing for Clonwilliam Health, and with me as usual I have Louise Murray, our support team lead for Socrates. Louise is going to do a quick run through of the phase 2 of the Healthmail prescription functionality in your Socrates system, and this is all around prescription refills. So she'll give you a full demo of kind of how to do it. At the end we'll take some questions from the audience. If anyone has any questions, on the right hand side of your screen you should see a little tab that says questions. Just type the question in there and we'll do our best to get through as many of them as we can at the end. So look, conscious everyone is probably on their lunch and under pressure, so I'm going to pass the controls to Louise and she's going to run you through the demo of the functionality. That should be on its way to you, Louise.
Lovely, I got it, thank you.
Great.
Hello everybody. Right, so first things first, so I'm just logged on twice into Socrates, one as a person who's not a doctor and one as a doctor. So if I just go to this user here, so the concept of this is if someone calls up and they're looking for the repeat prescription, what normally happens in a lot of places, not everywhere, but in a lot of places, the person who answers the phone will kind of get the prescription ready and then they print it off, then they bring it to the doctor reviews it, and if that's correct, then it goes to the patient. So what's happening, so you can't use the new feature that got incorporated there a few weeks ago for the doctors, where it kind of cuts out the printing and it goes straight to the pharmacy via Healthmail. Admin staff or non-doctors don't have that button. So what we've done is we've created what we've called a prescription refill. And what it's doing is it's getting the prescription ready for the doctor to review. Then the doctor can review it and then send it via Healthmail on their side, because as the non-doctor you're not able to send it off. So we'll just show you here, we'll get started. So up here at the top of the screen, I'm on version 2730, so that's the version, you have to be on that version at least to be able to use this new feature. So in this version, there's a new button and up at the top of the screen called prescriptions. So you can see that from wherever you are. If you're in consultation, reports, wherever it is, you'll always see that prescription button up at the top. So the patient calls up and they say they want a prescription refill. So the person will go to prescriptions, click on refill request, and what they will do is they will search for the patient that's calling up. So I'm going to use this test patient called test 1A. And their default doctor is Dr. Louise Murray. So I can change that to a different doctor if you want a different doctor to go over this prescription. Underneath this, it's asking you how many prescriptions do they need. Is it 1 or is it a 3-month? So you can say 3 months for this scenario. And underneath this, you've got the nominated pharmacy. So previously for test 1A, they have gotten a prescription sent via Healthmail and it's going to the Boots pharmacy in Sligo. And then the additional note down in here is anything that you might need to tell the doctor about the prescription. Maybe the patient is saying that they are going to the pharmacy later on and could you have it done by 2, or maybe a certain drug that they're on, it doesn't agree with them, can they go on a different one, or whatever it is. Maybe that scenario might happen, but whatever the information is that you think the doctor might need to know about it, you just fill it in there. If the nominated pharmacy, if someone says they're going to a different pharmacy, all you have to do is click on the pharmacy and choose a different one that they are saying they're going to go to, and you can just say okay to that. So I'm going to put in an additional note saying come to the pharmacy at 4. So in here at the bottom, we've got what the patient is normally on, so the to print section. So from here, the patient was on these drugs before, so you can click on them, they want them again. Down here at the bottom are the ones that have some issues left, so you just check the ones that the patient says that they need. And all you have to do is click on the OK button, and then what happens is it goes into a view for the doctor to look at and review. So if you wanted to go in and look at what you've done or what you've sent off to the doctor as an admin person or a non-doctor, or anyone really, if they want to see what ones are left, you can go into My Control Panel and click on the Prescription Viewer. So the Prescription Viewer has always been here, but there's a new section in here called the Refills. So if I click on Refills, these are all the refills that are for every single doctor at the moment. You can filter it down and look at individual doctors, etc. So you can do that. So say if I'm after adding one, it's a mistake, all you have to do is highlight the prescription that was added, and you just click on the delete button. And then you can say yes to that, and then it disappears. So if you wanted to see what you have done, so if I click on this one here that I'm after doing, if I click on the details, this is what the doctor will see when they're logged in. Over on the right hand side, you see all the ones that you have selected are highlighted, and down here at the bottom is the information that you have filled in. So they needed 3 months, going to the pharmacy at 1, and this is all the drugs that you have selected in there, and who created it was Jane Doe, this person logged on. So I'm just going to minimize this, and I'm going to log on as a doctor. So I'm already logged on as a doctor. So Dr. Louise Murray. So if I have any prescription refills, they will go up under the notification section, and you'll see 2 refills required. Or the doctor can go the same way that we did there, which was go to My Control Panel, Prescription Viewer, and they can go in this way. So I'm going to go just up here. So two refills requests. So from here, it's defaulted and only looking at ones that are assigned to Dr. Louise Murray. So the other doctors have other ones assigned under their name, and the doctor can look at them in here. So from here, I have Joe Blogs, and I have Test 1A. So if I highlight the prescription, over here on the right hand side, once again, it's highlighted all the stuff that I need, and down here at the bottom, the doctor can read the note that was filled in, going to the pharmacy at 4, and they want 3 months. So the doctor can see here that there's 2 that need to be reissued. If the doctor says, you know what, I don't like the person on that particular drug anymore, they can choose a different one. So they can add a new prescription and search for whatever it is that they need to give the patient, and they can add that into the list. There's a load of interactions here. This isn't a good prescription to give someone, too many interactions, and whatever the normal stuff is that you'd fill in. So that's now added into the list, and I also need to reissue these 2 drugs up here because I know the patient wants them, because I can see it down here, and also they were highlighted in orange. So I can reissue these, and I can say, yeah, I just want 3 months of them, or I can do what I would normally see in the prescription section, which is change the issues to 12 because I know that they're going to be on it for a while. But for this scenario, I'm just going to leave it as is, and I'm going to say okay, and I'm going to add those 2 in. So as you can see, all the ones that I highlighted, or the person who took the phone call did, they highlighted all the ones. It's highlighted still. And if I want to add something else into the list, I can just do what you would usually do in the prescription section, which is hold down the control button and click on the other ones that you also want to add into the prescription. And if you make a mistake and you've accidentally highlighted ones and you can't remember what they actually need, all you have to do is just click on a different one and click back into it, and it refreshes it basically. It's re-highlighting the ones that someone had already clicked. So all I have to do is click on the print one, and I also want to include the warfarin that I added, so I highlight that and I go print, and the normal window that you have for the prescription section is here. So down here, it knows that the pharmacy that I want to go to is Higgins Pharmacy, and I want to give them 3 months, and it's already ticked, and it knows that that's what I've asked for. So you click on the Healthmail RX button, and that prescription is going to go straight to that particular pharmacy via Healthmail. So that's it pretty much. It goes off to the pharmacy and the prescription refill leaves this section and goes off, and it's done basically. And then you can do the next one and so on. One other thing actually is that, say if the person who took the phone call has assigned a prescription to you, you can do them, but if you know that some other doctor might have some on their list, you can go into their list, because maybe you know that they're busy or they are they're busy. You can go into their list and review their prescriptions and send them off for that particular doctor. And you can also, if you wanted to review the information about this patient, because you might want to look at their notes, you can just highlight the patient and click on Open Chart up at the top left-hand corner, and it brings you straight into the patient's chart, and you can look at their chart, look at their notes, etc., look at their prescription history, and yeah, that's that part. It's pretty straightforward. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. So person takes the prescription order, the doctor reviews it and can either say that's perfectly fine and send it off, or change it and send it on afterwards. And that's that section.
Great.
So any questions?
Yeah, there's been a few in Louise, so we'll just crack on through them. But that was a really comprehensive overview. First question is on the when the GP is seeing the pharmacy, or sorry, the Healthmail RX screen. The pharmacy is down the bottom of that nominated pharmacy. Is there any way you can change it there before you actually hit print, or before you hit Healthmail RX? Really?
Yeah. Yeah, so this one here, Joe Blogs, I can just choose what I need to do, and then I can click print. And then down here where it says nominated pharmacy is Boots Sligo. If the patient has called up again and said, you know what, I'm going to go to a different one, they can click on nominated pharmacy, choose the other one, click OK. It'll change to that pharmacy, and click on the Healthmail RX and it will go to that pharmacy now.
Brilliant. So yeah, it'd be good to kind of just advise the doctor so that they can change it from there, or else just to give it a double check before they actually click on Healthmail RX that it is the right one. It will be the best recommendation, I think.
Yeah, when the person who's taken the call, when they go prescription and refill, they would be asking the patient at that stage which pharmacy they're going to go to. So the person who takes the call will know to choose the pharmacy. So nominated pharmacy here, there's no one, we've never sent one off, so they can select one. So when the person's talking to them on the phone, they're going to say, I'm actually going to go to this pharmacy. So they know that's the one that needs to go to. But if a person calls up and says, I'm actually going to go to a different one, they can change that.
Yeah, cool. Okay, and another question in, when I go to the prescription viewer and the refill request, it's not showing me most of what I did today. If the GP has already sent the prescription, does it disappear from there? And is there any way to check everything that was put up today, whether they've been sent or not?
Well, say for example, that particular patient, test 1A, exactly. So when the doctor is finished with the prescription, it leaves that section. So the only way that you'll be able to find out if prescription was done is to go into the patient's chart, test 1A, that's where it is, and go to the prescription section and look at the printed list. And you'll see what prescriptions have gone and where did the prescriptions go. So if I go under printed, these are the ones that I'm after doing today. And over here on the right hand side, I can see that it went to Higgins Pharmacy. So that's how a person will know if a doctor has done a prescription. If it's not in the list anymore, they'll check to see under the printed section to see if it's gone.
So is it, like, would you recommend keeping note of all like kind of prescriptions that come in over the phone, or how would you sort of, I suppose, check at a bird's eye view what's been done or what hasn't? You have to do it by patient, is it?
Yeah, you have to do it by patient. If you know you've done one and it's gone into notifications, if it's gone, then either you can trust the fact that you put it in there, or you can go in and check to see if it's not there anymore, if the doctor has gone into the gone into the if it's in printed. Basically, there's no other way of doing it.
Yeah, yeah, and I suppose that'll just come down to sort of the various processes that you have in place in the practice of, when is the GP going to approve them. So, if they're doing a batch at sort of 2 o'clock, then you might check after 2 to make sure there's nothing still outstanding. Or, I suppose
Yeah.
it's down to how you manage the sort of processes.
Yeah.
Um,
Exactly. Yeah.
One more question. If you send a prescription to the wrong pharmacy, can you delete it off the file? I presume that's the patient record, or what happens if you send a prescription in error?
Well, what I would suggest you do is go and tell the pharmacy to ignore it, because there's no way to undo an email.
Okay.
And then from here, you can, 1 second now, I haven't done this, but one moment. You can go to the printed section, and it's gone, this particular one's gone to Higgins Pharmacy. So I'm going to choose, so I'll just backtrack one. I'm going a bit too fast there. So I'm after sending it off to this particular pharmacy, and then we're after realizing that we sent it to the wrong one. So you just go back into the prescription section in the patient's chart, go to the printed and highlight the prescription again that you've just sent off, go reprint, and then choose or change it from Higgins Pharmacy to the other pharmacy. So under nominated pharmacy, choose the other one that the patient is actually going to go to, click OK, then click on Healthmail RX, and it will go to the other pharmacy. But you can't undo an email. You'll have to call up the patient or call up the pharmacy and say, ignore that email, it was sent to the wrong pharmacy. They've decided to go to a different place.
Excellent. Okay. And then there's just one more question in that I'm reading at the moment. So can you review additional comments recorded by the receptionist? So I think this is around the notes that they would add in when they're preparing the refill. Like say, for example, if a wrong script was sent, you know what I mean, and the patient isn't happy about it, that's the place that you would enter in, say, the patient is unhappy, please expedite, or whatever you might be doing, is it?
It's more for a note about the actual, more about the drugs itself.
Oh.
If it's something like more important, maybe I might misunderstand your question. If it's something like the patient is annoyed about something, then you probably wouldn't put that in the note section. You'd put it more as a message to the doctor about it. Are you saying that if the prescription went to the wrong pharmacy the last time and they're annoyed, can you send it to the right one?
Can you? I suppose, can you make if there was an error by the receptionist, can you make the GP aware of that? You know what I mean? If they've done something wrong and the patient isn't happy, can you make the GP aware of that when they're filling out the next one?
Yeah. So say we've done up a prescription and it's gone into the notification, or it's gone into the refill section. Mm-hmm. And the admin staff knows they've done something wrong, they can delete it and add it in again if they know they sent it to the wrong pharmacy. Or if they've sent it, if they filled it in and then they've gone into the, if they have done, sorry, I'm going to backtrack one, I'm going too ahead of myself. No. If the person has added one in incorrectly, the admin person can delete it and then add in a new one. But if they've added one in from a while back and then the doctor has done it and then the patient comes back weeks later and says, I actually need to go to a different pharmacy, not that one, the person can change it to the correct pharmacy as they go, and then the doctor, it'll automatically go to that new pharmacy that the admin person has said that they're going to. No. Okay. Is that right? Am I answering the wrong question here?
Sorry, hang on. I think, sorry, I'm just literally reading the question, so bear with me here. This GP is saying that they previously used prescriptions as a form of communication, i.e. a note attached to come into the practice in 3 months' time. They can do that in the notes, yeah?
Yeah, but there won't be... Oh, right. Are you saying that... So say if you're doing if the person who's there,
Oh,
if the
sorry.
person's sorry, just
There's
walk through
one
on a
more.
minute.
Sorry, they're just coming in different errors. So it's not to delete the prescription, but to go back and check what the receptionist did in the first place. How would they manage that?
Oh, if a person says they're collecting the prescription at 3, they want to look back at that note.
No, I think look back at the prescription that was sent in the first place, the whole prescription.
Oh, okay, 1 minute. So say I've highlighted all those 4 there.
Mhm.
Sorry, I hope I'm getting this right. The admin person has highlighted all those, and I've actually said I'm going to go and do these 3 and instead. But then you realize, actually, you know what? I don't know what it is. They can go and select. 1 second now. They can go back, reselect it, and then it will reselect the 4. So it shows you what it was. Is that it?
I think so. But also, say for example, that prescription is gone, and then 2 weeks
Mm-hmm.
later they get a phone call saying my prescription is wrong. How would they actually check what the prescription had in the first place?
Okay, well, whatever you've printed off is what you've sent off. So what are you saying that if I've highlighted this one, I've unselected that one and I've printed it, the person wants to know what was it originally. I've only given the patient these 3, but they actually asked for these 4, but I only given them 3. Is that
Okay.
it?
And so say then I suppose it goes back to where do you check the printed list or the sent list, if you know what I
All
mean?
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to know what the original refills were
Yes,
that
exactly.
the admin person did.
We got there
There's
anyway.
no, after you do a refill, after you do the refill, you can't go back and check to see what the original refill is.
Okay. Okay. No problem.
So there's finally got there,
Yeah.
sorry.
Sorry, apologies about that. We were just trying to understand. Okay, going on to the next question here. Saying we previously used prescriptions as a form of communication, i.e., a note attached to come in 3 months' time for blood tests. Is there a way for a similar note on a prescription that would appear on all of the boxes of medication or something similar? Um, so, is there any
All the
way?
box of medication.
So, in terms of say for example the note that goes to the pharmacy saying the patient will come at 4, could you add in a note there for the patient saying this needs to be followed up in 3 months' time, come into the practice? Would the
They would
patient
have to, if the doctor decides if the doctor decides that the patient needs to come in 3 months' time, they put that on the prescription to the patient. Is that it?
yeah.
The only way that you would do that is if you go into the chart and edit the prescription that you've added in and put in a note to say come and get your prescription in 3 months' time.
Okay.
So what they so what they do is when they come in and get their prescription normally handed to them, they have a note on top of the paper that says come back in 3 months' time for review. All right, I'm catching on to what they're saying now. So they want that on. Yeah, I'm catching on. See, that prescription goes off to the pharmacy, so the patient isn't going to get a copy of that.
Okay.
So they're not going to know that if you type a note on that saying come in 3 months' time, the patient's not going to see that. The pharmacy will, but the patient won't. So the only way that you would do that is by actually telling them to come in 3 months' time and get a review done.
Okay. Okay. So
I get what they're saying though.
yeah, it comes down to processes really. Okay, another question for you. If a patient is annoyed that they requested a medication but we didn't send it to their pharmacy, is there a way of checking what the receptionist has marked down what they have requested? So
So you've already sent it off.
you've already sent it off and it's gone to the wrong pharmacy from the patient's point of view. So can you check what the receptionist has marked down what they have requested?
No, so I think that answers a question from earlier.
Yeah.
Where if you've done a refill and you've completed it and it's all done, is there a way of going back and looking to see what was originally requested? So unfortunately, the answer to that is no. You don't know what the original request was.
Okay. Yeah. It's a phone conversation really.
You also, you know what was sent by looking in the sent item. So if then the scenario there from earlier is if it's gone to a particular pharmacy and sent off and they've gone to the wrong one, they go into the printed section and reprint it, sending it off to the correct pharmacy.
Okay, excellent. Excellent. Sorry, I'm just going through the questions here as well. If you've added a patient to the script list by mistake, how can you delete it from the request? So I think this is just what you went through in terms of deleting the prescription completely.
Yeah, so as an admin person, you don't see the one refill request. You go into my control panel, prescription viewer, look under refills. So you look at that usually. You go to refills, highlight that and go delete.
Grand.
On your keyboard, and then you say yes to deleting it.
Perfect. Okay, and can you set a task from the prescription area? For example, for a GP sending a task to reception about a patient's meds, saying that they need a blood test or whatever like that. Is that possible in here?
Once again, I think if it's more important notes like they need bloods done or something like that, you wouldn't want to put it in this section, because once it goes, say for this one here, going to pharmacy at 3, let's just say that was a different note saying whatever it is they felt, whatever the note is, that's not really as vague as that. Like say they feel this particular drug might have given them a rash or something. You want to kind of record that more of an important place, because this is just kind of like, it's kind of a bit like putting a post-it on a note. You're going to be throwing that out.
Yeah.
If it's important information, you need to store it in the chart somewhere, not in this here, because once it goes, it doesn't go. It's gone basically.
Okay.
The refill section, it's done.
Excellent. Okay, and then one more here. Can we just check? Can an admin member or staff send a script to the pharmacy directly once the doctor has checked it? I think this is probably once the doctor has checked it and they click on Healthmail or X. That's the point that it gets sent to the pharmacy. So the doctor checks and sends. The admin member of staff prepares it for the doctor to check and send.
Yeah, so they've done the work of review. So when they've done the work and adding it in here, the doctor's reviewed it, they're happy with it. So all they have to do is click on the Healthmail or X button and it goes, because you've already selected the pharmacy that they need to go to. So you as an admin person or non-doctor doesn't have this button, so you can't send it via Healthmail using that button because it doesn't exist for you.
Only the GP can, and again, I suppose that's there to address just the GP as the prescriber rather than the admin staff as the prescriber. Whereas previously, you might have put it in the post. The GP is effectively doing the same thing by clicking Healthmail or X.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Great. And I think that covers pretty much all of the questions. As always, look, I appreciate we were kind of trying to understand your questions and going on our best input or our best guess from them. So if you do have any questions that we haven't answered, please just drop me an email and we'll get back to you on it. I will be sending around a link to this video on YouTube later on if you want to share it with any members of your practice or anyone who you think might benefit from it. And I suppose we have a couple of other updates coming, thick and fast really at the moment, but I hope to include a video that shows what our video consultation will look like. So you will hopefully see that tomorrow, and we're hoping to kind of have that ready in the next couple of weeks to actually go live with. And the other thing then, probably later on this week or early next week, we'll be sending around just information about our partnership with BOIPA, that's Bank of Ireland Payment Acceptance, and how that can probably help you in COVID in terms of not having to actually touch the card machine anymore. You can now send information to the card machine directly from your Socrates system. So look, keep an eye on your emails, and we'll be in touch. Thanks a million for joining us today. Thanks to Louise for a great demo and for answering all the questions. Any more questions, just drop us an email and we'll be happy to come back to you. And hopefully you found this beneficial, and hopefully the new functionality will be a big help to you. The email, you can reply to the registration email address, or else we'll be sending out one from support@conwilliamhealth.com is the best address to get us at. And we'll be sending that out probably tomorrow as well. So we'll have an update for you then. So please feel free to send us on your questions. Thanks very much.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. Bye.